Good morning, YouTube! Today is Thursday, April 18th. I'm JB, and welcome to another edition of What's On Today with Discovery Bay, home of the YouTube Comic Community Channel Guide. This is the show where I'm going to share some of my top picks from the sea of comic content that was released yesterday. Then I'm going to run down the lineup of shows that are either releasing or going live today. So let's get started with a quick recap of yesterday's highlights. There are links to these channels in the description below. These channels have been discovered. First up on the recap, over at the Batman Statue Collector channel, he released a video titled Statue Preview Iron Man Mark III Life-Size Bust from Sideshow Collectible. I want one. Let's take a look.
Hello everyone, it's Chris the Batman Statue Collector, your Dark Knight of Collecting, and I am back with another Marvel Spotlight piece. This one, of course, from our friends over at Sideshow Collectibles, and this is kind of a surprise. It kind of came out of nowhere, but this is the Mark III Iron Man Life-Size Bust, again, from Sideshow Collectibles. This is 26 inches tall. When I first started collecting Marvel years ago, I did have a Mark III bust that Sideshow did. This is very similar. It's got a similar base, but it does expand the chest area to include that extra light up feature, which is really cool. This is going to go up for pre-order.
To see that video and a lot more amazing statues, go ahead and hit the link right there. The next item on the recap comes from the ThoroQboro channel. He went live yesterday with a stream titled ThoroQboro Live, New Comic Book Day Mail Call, plus so much more. Every time I see Thoro, he impresses me more and more. Let's take a look.
What is going on, everybody, man? This is your boy ThoroQboro once again coming back at you. You know, never know what time I'm gonna come on, but definitely, thank you for joining me. It's about 11:40 right now on the East Coast. I'm originally from New York City, living down here in Virginia. Shout out to all my folks from New York. Shout out to everybody here in Virginia. Shout out to everybody all around the United States of America. Definitely appreciate it, guys. And I also want to thank everybody that has been watching me, that has been following me on YouTube, man. Definitely from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to you guys. I'm currently having a show together with my brother Burke Nasty, also Chino Comics and more, and my brother Manny, man. One hell of a show. These guys get to show a preview. They get to hold these books in hand every Tuesday night before they come out prior to Wednesday. She actually got me involved into reading John Steinbeck, and John Steinbeck is actually one of my favorite authors. I can't tell you enough, Of Mice and Men, if you guys have ever heard of it, Of Mice and Men is one of my favorite books on earth. To this day, if I have it with me, I would definitely read it, and I would reread it and read it again. That's just an incredible story, and definitely you guys should go and check it out. But back to...
That's the Rookie of the Year so far this year. Let's check him out at the link above. Alright, the final item on the recap comes from Jason over at JP's Budget Collecting channel. This is my top pick for the day, as I'm a Star Wars nut, and Jason hit it out of the park with this one. Let's take a peek. Man, Jason, I get fired up every time I see that. Thank you so much for that. Okay, now let's get to today's lineup and find out what's on today with Discovery Bay. All these times are listed in both Pacific Standard Time and Eastern Standard Time, and all of the channel links with timestamps are in the description below. Today there are 11 shows in the lineup and 7 of them are going live. So, first up, at 12 a.m. Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern.
Whosoever watches this channel, if he or she be worthy, shall acquire the knowledge from High Road Comics.
Arrow over at High Road Comics is releasing a video titled High Road Comics Presents New Comic Book Day Pickups, Wednesday, 4/17/2019. At 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Billy over at Economics and Comics is releasing the next video in his comic book pressing series. Today's video is titled Comic Book Pressing Conan the Barbarian #1. Next up at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, over at the Metarog channel, we get the weekly comic contest roundup. If you want to know what's going on in the YouTube comic community contest world, then you need to make sure you watch this one. Okay, next up at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, over at Stacey's weekly comic book picks channel, we should be seeing the next video in his weekly series titled Stacey's Weekly Comic Book Picks. Alright, at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, over at the Comic Spectre channel, Israel's going live again with a stream titled Unboxing That Spider-Man Mystery Boxes. Man, you know the kind of luck he has, you should tune in for this one. At 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, over at the Big Lion Cat 646 channel, Patrick and his sidekick Lenny are going live with a stream titled Big Lion Cat 64619 live unboxing and pickups from 4/18/19. Okay, at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, over at JLS Comics, we should be getting the next installment in their weekly live stream titled Comiconversation. Join Edwin of Strictly Comics, Justin of Exile State, and Boston Chris in the live chat. Okay, next up at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Join Jack, aka Mr. Bolo, and Brian over at Simple Man's Comics each Thursday night as they discuss this week's hottest comic book releases and recap the comicbookinvest.com Bolo Be on the Lookout list for new comic books that released yesterday. Now this list is broken down into 4 parts: confirmed first appearances, reader buzz, variant buzz, and of course, you can't forget, aka Mr. Bolo's long-term play. You don't want to miss this one. Jack and Brian are dropping great knowledge in this live stream, comic fam. I'll see you in the chat. Okay, at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, over at All About Comics, we have another live show, and this one is titled Comics and Cold Ones, episode number 44. Join JP, Pope, and the gang as they discuss all the latest and greatest comic news. Also at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, over at the Tony Sanders channel, we have another live show, and this one is titled What's Your Grail? Tonight's special guest is Thanatos, and guess what? I know what his grail is. Okay, the last item on the lineup and the last live show that I knew about starts at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Reggie goes live with a stream titled Are We Headed for a Crash? Comic and Figure Addicts? I don't know, but you'll have to head over to Reggie Simmons' IFBB Pro channel to find out. Well, that's it for today's show. Everyone, please visit me on Facebook. I can use some likes over there. And Instagram, where I'll be posting this schedule with any ads and or changes this afternoon. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a like. If you know of anyone who might be interested in this information or may want to be included in this show, please share this with them. And please leave a comment, as I always love suggestions on how I can improve the show. Also, if you're not a subscriber, think about subscribing so you don't miss out on any of these cool shows. I hope you find some great new content from today's show, and as always, don't forget, we had a good time.